So the topic of today's sermon is a leash fair? As we were walking, we saw many dogs that were tied to a leash. Some of them were tied to fire hydrants, some of them were tied to meters, some of them, their owners were pulling them. There was one dog, as we were walking, was very excited, really wanted to come maybe say hi, and the owner was pulling it really hard, trying to make it get off the path, but the dog kept pulling against it, trying to come say hi. And the owner was scared that there might be a problem. And so all of this made me ask the question, is having a leash fair? Is it fair? Well, first of all, who wants a leash? Probably no one. How many people want to have a leash around them and be controlled by someone else? Probably not a lot of people. But is it necessary? Think about this. Who has to bear the responsibility if something goes wrong? If that dog bites someone, what happens? Not only is there maybe monetary problems for the owner, in some cases the dog gets killed because it did something and now it has to take the responsibility. But is it really the dog's fault? Does it know better? Was it trained well? Some people said, well, maybe a leash outside, but no leash inside the house, because it's our house, we can do whatever we want. But do you realize that that's part of the problem? When you train yourself to be free and uncontrolled at home, when you go outside and you have to put the leash on, it becomes that much harder, right? And that's the idea. What kind of person are we? Are we the kind of person that has our own self-control? Now think about this. Have you seen dogs that have a leash, that their owner is comfortable, they don't have to pull it, the dog doesn't pull the leash, they both walk in perfect harmony, right? But they wear a leash. And there's some dogs that have no leash and they don't wander, they don't attack anything, they don't act crazy, they're under control. And so when it comes down to it, a leash for us is what? Well, in the Dhamma sense, it's many things. It's a border, it's a boundary. For some of us, like us monks and nuns and 8 precepts, we are voluntarily taking a leash. We want the leash, which is the rules that the Buddha put in place to keep us protected, to keep us from having to decide ourselves, should I do this, should I not? Oh, the Buddha said don't do it. Okay, then I won't do it. I'll think about it, I'll figure it out, but I know not to do it first. These are things that are protecting us because sometimes we don't know good enough. Does the dog know well enough what to do and what not to do? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's a risk. And that risk creates danger for the dog and for the owner. And so, can we live in a world that has laws and rules? Well, we have no choice. This world has laws and rules and consequences. And so instead of worrying about the leash, let's worry about our self-control. Let's worry about our training so that even if we had a leash, it doesn't matter because we're not going to fight against it. We can live within the boundaries of the leash. And so, in the end, don't worry about the leash. Don't worry about the rules. Worry about your self-control. Worry about your choices because the consequences are what's scary, not the leash.